Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys my least favorite anime tropes, the tropes that I don't like. This list isn't as long as my favorite anime tropes because, I don't know, I love more than I hate, okay? I love more than I hate. I'm a lover. So without further ado, let's get started. My first anime trope that I hate, and I just gotta say it. I don't like a weak female character who is probably also obsessed with the main character or like another character. I hate that so much. Oh my god. Why do anime creators do this? Why do they insist on it? Part of me thinks that it's sort of a projection or something, or like they want someone to fawn over them now, because it just doesn't make sense. I don't understand what they see in their life in a day-to-day basis that would possess them to actively draw and write a character who does nothing but obsess over a boy and does not contribute anything to the show. It's so strange to me. It's incredibly misogynistic, first of all. What did women do to you that you have to portray them like this in your stories? Riddle me that. Tell me that. What did women do to you that you feel like you feel possessed? I don't know. Because it's weird. Masashi Kishimoto, ooh, someone needs to talk to that man, because him and women do not mesh at all. The worst female characters I've seen in a show, most of them come from Naruto. Granted, Naruto is a long anime, it has a lot of characters, so it has a lot of female characters, of course. You have so many female characters, but so many of them are bad, to the point where they're brought up first in a conversation of why women are written so badly in anime. Sakura, Hinata, Tenten, need I say more? Tsunade, granddaughter of the first Hokage, fifth Hokage, and what did she amount to? Come on. Look at an Urza from Fairy Tail. Look at a Yoruichi from Bleach. None of these characters are both females, they're both feminine, they have emotions. Urza more so than Yoruichi, but they both have emotions and they're full characters, but they're still strong. They still have tremendous feats. The next thing I don't like in anime, the next trope I don't like in anime is sexual harassment that's used. I'm just gonna get the woman stuff out the way. Let me get the women stuff out the way, because that stuff is important. Let me get that out the way, and then we'll go into pettier. But sexual harassment that's kind of used as comedy and used as a ha 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 ha. Again, it's more common in older anime. Fine, I'll give it that. But it's still a thing. You have a Jiraiya. Funny, I guess, but why? You have a Master Roshi. Funny, I guess, but why? You have Meliodas. That's a newer one. Meliodas, incredibly uncomfortable. I ain't seen no shit like Meliodas, what he was doing with Elizabeth in that show. That's insane. I know it's not just anime. I know many forms of media do it. Wrestling did it. I know. Let me just say it. You have to say this stuff. You have to point it out. Just because maybe it doesn't happen, you gotta point it out. So now that stuff is out the way. Next thing I don't like, what is with, Again, we're talking about older anime still, but I'm sure it can still happen in current anime. What is with so many androgynous characters that are not necessarily gay, but could be? What's that about? Can we talk about the weird homophobia, what that is? You know what I'm talking about. There's always, not always, but there's sometimes some characters who, typically male characters that are quite androgynous, which I guess representation, fine, but it's usually not done in a representation matter sort of way. It's done as comedic and punchliney, and he takes the brunt of a lot of jokes, and he's clearly not comfortable that so many people think that he's a woman. I don't understand why many anime used to do it or still do it, because people are writing this story. You don't understand, people are writing, people are drawing this. So what would possess you to add a character like that? What is your reason? It's not a good representation of person who is gay or person. It's not a good representation, because all you do is make fun of the character. And let's talk about, why is this character always pedophilic? For example, Hisoka heavy pedophile, heavy pedophile. Orochimaru, heavy pedophile. Come on, like I don't understand why the two are always linked. Why is a character who's androgynous and like apparently gay, but they're also like pedophiles in like a very like explicit manner? Like I don't understand that. Like you have to unpack that. That's insane. Next thing, I gotta get the wokeness out the way. The endless like the weird queer baiting. It's strange. Why do that? Is it because you want to attract like female characters or like readers who are gay? Why have like, for example, two main characters or two side characters who, if they could be two men or two women or whatever, to anyone with eyes, it seems like they are interested in each other, but it's never like acknowledged as so. It's always like sort of like downplayed or like subtext, like undertones of like the characters could be in love with each other. That's homophobic as heck. In that same show, you'll have the men and the women who explicitly like each other and will kiss a few times and like explicitly tell each other like why is like the two same-sex characters, why is that so like you have to read between the lines and it's so like it's such an undertone thing. That's like a Black Butler, Ciel and Sebastian. That's like clear, like Free. Obviously, that's like the biggest example. Or in High School, or in Host Club. Huge example of that. I will give a shout out to Yuri on Ice. They sort of were a little bit more explicit about it, but still they didn't really say it with their chest. Even when animes try to be like sort of edgy or like kind of new about it, they still don't really say it with their chest. They still make it as sort of like a beneath the surface kind of thing. Like people are going to be talking about it on the forums, like, oh, like do they really end up together? Oh, did they really get? It's like, if you're gonna do it, because it's like I don't understand like representation that's like thinly veiled in like homophobia or like racism. Like it's the same thing for having like a black character on a show, whatever. It's like I'd rather you didn't have the black character than to have it, but then give him like a really like strange like stereotype or draw them like really strange. It's like I'd rather you just didn't. Like that's more offensive than not putting him to begin with. Last thing, I think the thing that annoys me the most, the anime trope that I hate the most is a show where the villains are so weak. Not physically weak, but like mentally weak. Like their heart is weak. In that same vein, shows where the villain is always like you always sympathize with the villain, or like you always feel bad for the villain, or the villain always becomes like a nice guy, like in Fairy Tail. I don't like that. Sometimes people are just not good people. I mean, of course, like okay, fine. Everyone has their reason for doing things. Like, you know, somebody's mama got killed by someone. Like, yeah, everybody has their reason for doing things. Fine, but don't overdo it. Some people are just bad because it gets to the point where it's repetitive. That's my problem. Repetitive. Not all characters need to be like baseless villains. I just want to be. Not all characters have to have like no sort of like real deep motivation, but not all characters need a fucking amazing backstory with that you should feel sorry for that becomes a good person. Like, let's get a balance. On one hand, you have a Dragon Ball Z where the villains are just villains because they want to kill people. They want to be the strongest person in the universe. Like, for example, Cell is literally programmed to kill Goku. So it's like, it's a little ridiculous. They're just evil because they're evil. But then you have Fairy Tail all the way over here. Every villain has a long backstory. Everyone you feel sorry for, everyone becomes a good guy. People don't really be dying like that. It's just, oh my god. Can we just have some bad people? Naruto is somewhere in the middle. Most of the villains, they have like a reason for doing what they do. They're still kind of evil, but like it's Naruto is a little bit on the side of Fairy Tail, and it gets kind of annoying. For example, Orochimaru, he was a good villain. He was evil. You could kind of see why he was like that, but then they kind of just make him into a good guy, and it's like in a Bleach, half of Bleach is filler, so it's like, who are the fucking villains? It's like, you got this entry to Soul Society and then Aizen. I don't know what's Aizen's deal, but it's just a lot. Let's just have some balance. That's all I ask for. Just give me some balance, all right? And I won't be complaining. Just give me some balance. It's all right. Anyway, my camera has turned off from overheating for quite a few times, and I'm actually at the end of my list of tropes that I don't like. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you like the video, you can give me a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what tropes that you don't like. As I said before, check out my video on tropes that I do like. You can subscribe to me if you want to see more videos. Yeah, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.